Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Abyss Actor Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for January 2024. Wanted to update this Pendulum deck from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 series used by Shingo Sawatari. A really awesome Pendulum deck where it did get some support back during Photon Hypernova, but I figured an update was due just for some of the changes I've made to the deck. A very awesome deck that can utilize the many different Pendulum summons for the Abyss Actor monsters, but then also make use for the different Abyss scripts and the Abyss Actor Link monsters that we can also summon from the extra deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Abyss Actor monsters, we run 3 copies of Abyss Actor Mellow Madonna. For this card, you usually just use it for its Pendulum Scale effect. You can pay 1,000 life points to add one Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, except for Mellow Madonna. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except for Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters, even if this card leaves the field. So while it is a scale 0, you have access then to your level 1 Abyss Actor monsters that you may want to summon out onto the field as well, as long as you have the proper high scale as well. It gains 100 attack for each Abyss script spell in your graveyard, and when a Pendulum monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if an Abyss script card is activated, you can special summon a level 4 lower Abyss Actor Pendulum from your deck, but return it to the hand during the end phase, giving you access to other Pendulum summons later on. Mellow Madonna just really helps to set up all of those plays. And also 3 copies of Abyss Actor Comic Relief. With this card, you can target an Abyss Actor Pendulum you control and one monster your opponent controls. Switch control both those monsters and then destroy this card. And you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. And during your standby phase, you can give control of this card to your opponent. And once per turn, if control of this face-up card changes, activate this effect. This owner of this card can destroy one set Abyss script spell or trap in their spell and trap card zone, giving you that switch in use access for Comic Relief to destroy your own Abyss scripts to then give you additional card effects, because then the Abyss scripts have additional card effects depending on if they were destroyed or actually activated. Also 3 copies of Abyss Actor Extras. You contribute this card to place one Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum zone, so a quick way to set up Mellow Madonna. And if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your Pendulum zone. You can only use this effect of extras once per turn, so while we have cards like Curtain Raiser for another special summon option, you can just get more and more resources to then go into many of our different Abyss Actor Link monsters to then summon on the field, using cards like extras as those monsters, or just more of the setup for your Pendulum scales. Also 3 copies of Abyss Actor Wild Hope. Once per turn, you can make this card gain 100 attack for each Abyss Actor monster you currently control with different names, and until the end of this turn, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add one Abyss Actor card from your deck to your hand, except for Wild Hope. Giving you more search, but also being a scale 9 in the Pendulum zone means that you can have the scale of your other Pendulum become scale 9, having this one be scale 2, to then summon out some of our bigger boss monsters that we may add from our deck to our hand onto the field also. And then lastly, the 3 copies of Curtain Raiser. Along with the attack boost this card has, you also just have a special summon option. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your Pendulum zone. You're going to use each effect of Curtain Raiser once per duel, but still, we run the 3 of, so at least we have consistency to open this card up in our hand to then be able to summon it out onto the field for us to use. And then also, that's it for the 3-ofs. We run a good number of 3-ofs, but they're all just consistent engine builders for our deck to use. For some of the bigger monsters, like Boss Monster lineup, 2 copies of Abyss Actor Superstar. Once per turn, you contribute one Abyss Actor monster, then target one Abyss script spell in your graveyard, add to your hand. So from the Pendulum scale, it's recycle power, but when this card is normal or special summon, your opponent's spell and trap card and effects cannot be activated. Once per turn, you can set one Abyss script spell directly from your deck, but it is sent to the graveyard during the end phase. So then just being able to have cards to then set up and use against your opponent, giving us the option to set up those Abyss script cards, is why it's our go-to, because then we just have that continuous special summon option from the Pendulum zone or the extra monster zone to then summon out and get the search power off of Superstar. And then for some of the 1-ofs, we run 1 copy of Abyss Actor Sassy Rook, having more of a protection card for your Abyss Actor monsters using this one. Leading Lady for more of a recycle for the Abyss Actor cards as well. And then also 1 Trendy Understudy for 1 more target high scale card to use, being able to add cards back from our X deck to our hand as well, to not limit us for all of our Pendulum summons, since we can summon as many as we want from the hand back onto the field. With the last being the 1 Abyss Actor Evil Heal, you have the tribute option for making your opponent's monster lose in attack points, or going for the Wild Hope play to then be able to have a scale 9 to summon out this 3,000 attack point monster onto the field. With the only non-Abyss Actor main deck monsters we run being 3 copies of Ash Blossom and 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Just for more hand trap options, we do want to focus heavily on the Pendulum Scale lineup, but we still want to have some hand traps just to stop any of our opponent's initial plays so then we can go strong into our own. And with cards like Mellow Madonna being able to set up the scales quite easily, we can have, some room for at least a couple hand traps here and there. Moving on now to the spells. I do want to run 3 copies of Abyss Actor's Dress Rehearsal. Sadly, I only had the 1, so just have 2 Dramatic Story as a replacement spot. At the start of your main phase, add 1 Abyss Actor card and 1 Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand. For the rest of this turn after it resolves, you cannot Pendulum Summon monsters except for Abyss Actor monsters. So just being able to add Mellow Madonna and then another Abyss Script of choice is a great option just at the start of main phase 1 with this spell. And then for that play to add anything we need for our startup summon. Also, 2 copies of Abyss Script, Rise of the Abyss King. Target a face-up cards on the field up to the number of attack position Abyss Actor monsters you control. With different names you control, destroy them. If you control a level 7 or higher Abyss Actor monster, your opponent cannot activate card or effects in response to this card's activation. And if this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, you can add up to 2 Abyss Actor cards and or Abyss Script spell cards with different names from your deck to your hand. So while you have the additional search as well, you have more of the setup thanks to this card being able to rely on the search power that it can give as well. And then also the 1 copy of the field spell Fantastic Theater and the 1 copy of Dramatic Story. With Dramatic Story targeting Abyss Actor Pendulum you control, special summon 1 Abyss Actor from your deck to a different name, giving you access to some of the other bigger boss monsters I mentioned before, with Fantastic Theater being able to reveal an Abyss Actor Pendulum and 1 Abyss Script spell in your hand and add 1 Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand with a different name. So we only need the 1 of this card. It's more searchable with our extra deck options as well, being able to place it just with Super Producer onto the field, and some of our other Abyss Scripts being the 1 copy of Opening Ceremony and the 1 copy of Abyss-tainment for the final spots there, and 1 copy of Call by the Grave, with the only traps that we run being the initial copies of 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence for just 1 more hand trap lineup along with the Ash Blossom and the Droll and Lockbird to be able to go into. And for the extra deck, we run 3 copies of Abyss Actor Hyper Director. You can target 1 card in the Pendulum Zone, special summon it, then place 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum with a different name from your deck or face up in the extract to your Pendulum Zone. Also, you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except for Abyss Actors, but being able to control your Pendulum Scale so easily with cards like Hyper Director, definitely making an easy one to go into since you just need 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster. So if you could just normal summon out a monster, have a scale that you can then swap out with it to then get the proper scale, or just, once again, another Mellow Madonna search to give you that complete Pendulum Scale as well. Also, 2 copies of Abyss Actor Super Producer. With this card during the main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up card you control, destroy it, then apply 1 of these effects. You can place 1 Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Theater from your deck, face up in your field zone, or place 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum from your deck in your Pendulum Zone. Once again, more setup, but also just having access to the field spell to then continue our search for our different Abyss Scripts. Also, the 1 copy of Beyond the Pendulum, 1 copy of Exceed the Pendulum, 1 Barricade Board Blocker, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 IP Masquerena for the Link 2 monsters, and then for the higher Link monsters, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Zephyra Metaltron, and the 1 Crusadia Avermax to finish off the Link 3 and 4s, with our Xyz monsters being 1 copy of Big Eye and 1 copy of Zeus. You don't go into the non-Abyss Actor extra deck monsters as often, but I still like to have them just as plays to potentially use as well. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as I mentioned before, Mellow Madonna just has that setup, being able to add an Abyss Actor Pendulum from your deck to your hand. So then you just get that search depending on the scale you may need. You can then give yourself a resource to then special summon out onto the field, going for the extra deck play, using the Curtain Raiser to then summon out our Link 1 Hyper Director onto the field, being able to target a card or Pendulum Zone, special summon it, then place 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum with a different name from your deck face up, giving you that consistent switch and setup for our many different cards, being able to just to special summon out, getting us resource after resource with each one of them. And then when you have the completed scale that you desire, you can then go for the Pendulum Summon to have the additional resources. The only thing to remember is to watch out for some of the restrictions that some of the Abyss Actor cards can give you, because a lot of them do limit you into what you can summon out onto the field, whether it be Abyss Actor monsters or just being able to only summon the Pendulum monsters being Abyss Actor monsters for that turn. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira, Twig out.